Welcome to Business Insight Fredericton. I'm Krista Ross, CEO of the Fredericton Chamber of Commerce. Today, we're speaking to businesses and organizations that are lots of fun in Fredericton. First up, I'll be talking to Jeff Richardson, General Manager of the Harvest Music Festival.
So Harvest Music Festival's going into its 31st year. It's a music festival that takes place in downtown Fredericton with hundreds of performers across dozens of stages every September since 1991.
How did it actually get started?
Well, there was a group of friends, music lovers in Fredericton, who saw the need for more live music in the city. As the sort of in the late 80s and early 90s, they identified this need to more venues and to host more live music. They got together in 1991 and had the first Harvest Jazz and Blues Festival back then.
You just mentioned that it was the Harvest Jazz and Blues Festival, and now it's the Harvest Music Festival. Tell me about that.
I guess as the festival grew over time, we had more and more artists across more stages and started to showcase different kinds of music. Particularly over the last 10 years, over the last decade, we had more and more diverse artists appearing at the festival.
Tell me about how Harvest is structured. Do you have a board, committees, volunteers, staff? How does it all work?
We have 3 full-time staff who work year-round and a board of 13 people, a working board, a busy working board who heads committee year-round. All told, up to 1,000 people will volunteer for the festival when the rubber hits the road in September.
What can you tell me about who your clients are? Who are your patrons? What is the demographic that tends to come out?
So we've got folks who are coming down to check out the free programming and the street experience with families. We've got folks who have been coming to groove to jazz and blues for 30 years and will come for 30 more. And we've got a lot of youth come, the university community as well.
If you were to look at a variety of different types of music festivals, let's say in North America, how and where does Harvest rank?
We're I think the largest festival of our kind this side of Montreal for sure. With, across the week we could see about 80,000 people taking part in the street experience or in the paid venues and the like. So I think we certainly surprise folks. We punch above our weight in terms of the lineup that we bring in.
So is there opportunity for the festival to grow? I know over the years I've seen many times when shows are sold out.
We're always looking at ways we can grow. We're bound by sort of our festival footprint downtown in terms of we can only put so many people in a tent. But we're always growing in terms of the free experience we offer on the streets, so more buskers and musicians and different kinds of art installations, and really committed to showcasing those artists in a free setting.
Tell me about how COVID impacted the festival this past year.
It led to sort of probably 16 months of imagining how you put on a festival during a pandemic. What kinds of measures do we put in place to keep our audience, our volunteers, our staff, and our patrons all, and the artists safe. So we certainly looked at probably 5 or 6 different models that we worked through to try to offer the safest experience possible. And then we struggled too in terms of knowing that with reduced capacity we would have reduced revenue. So I think like a lot of other arts organizations in the country, it was certainly a struggle. A lot of work went into, from volunteers and staff, went into presenting a safe experience. We had a lot of great sponsors and a lot of municipal and federal and provincial support.
What's the number that represents your budget for every year?
Our budget is about $2 million for the year.
And of that $2 million, what do you think is the economic spin-off to our community?
So our estimate in 2019 was about $8 million. One of the indicators we track is our hotel bookings and what's it looking like for the week of Harvest. And we were pleased to see those numbers increase as the summer went on through 2021.
With a budget of $2 million, 400 artists, what is your growth trajectory? Is there, and you said you've kind of maxed out on downtown space, but what is the growth possibilities?
We're always keen to find out where else we can build and how much we can grow throughout the street experience and how we can engage and build new partnerships with downtown businesses. We also, through the pandemic, like a lot of folks, came to understand what our digital capabilities were a little bit more, and the idea that we could indeed present a virtual festival to accompany the festival. So there's potential for growth there.
No organization exists alone. So I'm sure there's lots of organizations that help you along your path. What organizations do you engage with or that support the work that you're doing?
Downtown Fredericton Inc., DFI, was there at the very beginning. Sponsors like Valley Graphics and Covies and all kinds of local businesses supported Harvest from the beginning. As did from almost the beginning, the city of Fredericton, who's become one of our biggest partners. So really without our government partners and our sponsor, our business partners, particularly in challenging times like the last couple of years have been, it wouldn't be the festival it is today.
What would you say is the most difficult challenge that the festival has faced over the years?
The pandemic. It's really been challenging on every front imaginable. Live music in Canada is only back to about 50% of what it was before the pandemic. So those organizations continue to struggle, and we see that in the live music supply chain as well.
So what do you think is the biggest risk that Harvest faces now?
Our capacity to continue to run at such a high level with a volunteer workforce.
So maybe today's show we can promote the fact that there are always opportunities for volunteers through Harvest, and if people are interested they should reach out and tell you that they want to volunteer.
Absolutely, harvestmusicfest.ca, and we'd love to we have a spot for anybody who's looking to volunteer.
Tell me your best story. Crazy, funny, or moving, whatever you think is your best story of something that's happened since you've been with Harvest.
The 2019 festival really was a special one in terms of the lineup we were able to build. Our music programmer describes it as he sort of just fell into catching lightning in a bottle with that one, where we had, Robert Plant was here, Jason Isbell in the 400 unit, Lucinda Williams, and Nathaniel Rateliff in the Night Sweats. It really felt like we're all of a sudden hosting North America's best festival.
I know that Harvest has certainly had lots of accolades, awards, commendations, that sort of thing. Can you tell me about some of those?
I mean, we've been recognized by the ones that I guess are the nicest ones are the ones that come from the folks that you work with, who have a stake in what you do and really appreciate what you're doing locally, right? So from the Chamber of Commerce recognition there, and from the East Coast Music Awards, it means a lot to know, okay, that we're getting something right if these folks are excited about what we're doing.
Give me that 30-second pitch on the next Harvest and why it's going to be fun.
Harvest 2022 is September 13th to the 18th. I think it's going to be our best one yet. Our whole team is energized and ready to deliver a normal harvest this fall downtown Fredericton.
Welcome to Business Insight Fredericton. I'm Krista Ross, CEO of the Fredericton Chamber of Commerce. I'm on the St. Andrews Golf Course in Scotland. Actually, I'm at Par 94, and next up, I'll be talking to Cam McNeil.
We opened up November 26th, 2021, and it's been a really great start to the season. Obviously, we're a bar and golf lounge, so we have 4 simulators in the space. We have seating for about 150 at full capacity.
So when you talk about a simulator, tell me what the simulators are all about.
You use real clubs, real golf balls, and you're hitting into an impact screen about 10 to 12 feet away from the screen. So what that means is we use state-of-the-art technology to track all of the impact data at the interaction between the club and the ball. So
do people use this to polish up their game, or do they just use it for entertainment?
A little bit of both, yeah. So it depends on the time of day when you're in here. So throughout the week, Tuesday morning, for example, we have a lot of golfers in to shape up their swing throughout the winter, just get some swings in and maybe play a quick round of golf. On a Friday, Saturday night, it's a little bit of a different scenario. You have a younger, more vibrant crowd.
If I'm playing a simulator, is it just a random golf course, or is it specific golf courses? Can I pick a course that I'd like to play on?
We have over 140 different courses on the program.
So how did you come up with the idea of Par 94?
My partner and I, Casey, we're both very avid golfers. We've experienced indoor simulators in other cities before, and it was definitely something that we thought Fredericton was missing.
So you opened during a pandemic.
In the winter, a lot of people travel down to Florida, the snowbirds, they go and play golf for months of the year, and nobody's here. With the travel restrictions, that wasn't happening anymore. So really it was a beneficial opportunity for us to allow people to golf 24/7, all throughout the year.
Tell me about the structure of Par 94. Is it just yourself? Do you have a management team? How many employees? Do you have a board? Tell me all about it.
So we actually went through to raise money through the SBITC, Small Business Investor Tax Credit in New Brunswick. Awesome program, highly recommend any new businesses out there. So we're completely owned by friends and family. So it's myself and my business partner Casey who operate the business on a day-to-day. We have 14 employees, 3 full-time, mostly part-time, a lot of students who are awesome.
Cam, tell me about who would you consider to be your main client base?
We open at 9 a.m. and you have a lot of golfers, avid golfers who are in here practicing their swing. They just want to get some hits in over the winter because all the courses are closed. And then on the weekend you get definitely a different crowd. Friday, Saturday night. You get a more social scene in here. It becomes more of a bar. We have the space to accommodate staff parties, birthday parties, bachelor parties, bachelorette parties, all these types of things.
How do you get your message out to these clients, to the golfers, and to the people that just want to go out and have an evening of fun with friends?
We do a lot of our stuff through social media, so Instagram, Facebook, we got a TikTok account. Social media is big for us. We do a lot of email campaigns, so we also partner with the Fredericton Golf Club.
Cam, do you think a lot about your competition? And if you had competition, who do you think it is?
Yeah, so there's a ton of great places to golf inside. What they do really great is their performance centers. They're high intensity and they're really geared towards getting better at the game. We do a really great job of just having new players come into the game. We're a little less intimidating to go into if it's your first time golfing. And we're more of a bar vibe.
You've mentioned a couple of times that in the off season, it's a great place to polish up your game. What do you think is going to happen as we come into the spring and summer months when people can get out on the course? Do you think you'll still be busy?
What we have that you don't get on the course is the actual data behind your swing. And so when you're coaching or when you're trying to improve your game, what really helps is understanding what's happening with your clubs. And so we definitely have a seasonality aspect to it. Everybody would much rather be enjoying a 30-degree day on the course rather than being inside. But of course, there's rain days that I think we can capitalize on.
So you launched during COVID. How do you think that impacted your launch? Was it good, bad, or no effect?
A lot of people were looking for something to do. They had lockdowns, they had restrictions, they were feeling like, they needed to get out, and so we definitely noticed that. I think especially in the Christmas months for December.
Moving forward, how would you measure success?
It's definitely about our customers and our employees. It's making sure the experience is enjoyable for every single guest coming through the door. And it's also about just creating a fun environment and a safe environment too.
You talk about making it a good experience so people will come back. What is your growth like?
A lot of cities are missing this type of experience. So you look at Moncton, Dieppe, Riverview, you look at Halifax, you look at these places. I think there's really a really great opportunity to expand into those places.
Does your growth trajectory include opening in other cities with Par 94?
That's definitely on the roadmap for us. I think a good goal, in 2 to 3 years is to have several locations across Atlantic Canada.
So when you got started, Cam, who were some of the organizations that helped you get swinging?
I looked to organizations like UNB, so I went to UNB, TME, so Technology Management and Entrepreneurship Center. Obviously, the Small Business Investor Tax Credit through the government. McGinnis Cooper. I looked to Planet Hatch for grants, and just the community in general.
Cam, what's the most difficult challenge that you faced so far?
for us, it was a very specific issue with renovating the space to get it up to fire safety, so life safety in the building. So we had to upgrade this space from an office space to an assembly space, and so to do that, we had to go through a major building renovation that we didn't expect. So that was definitely something that caught us off guard.
Cam, as a business owner, how do you feel about the economy and opportunities here in New Brunswick?
I think we're in a really unique situation in New Brunswick where you have access to a lot of, as a small business, you have access to a lot of advice and lessons learned directly from the community. So I think we're very blessed that way because everybody's so friendly, so welcoming. They're willing to sit down with you and have a coffee and an hour conversation. In a larger city, you might not get that.
Although you're early in the game, what would you say so far that you're most proud of in your business?
Definitely most proud of the team that we built. Our employees are absolutely incredible. A lot of just kind, generous and supportive people on staff and it shows.
In the next year or even 3 years or 5 years, what do you see as your path or your goals?
The plan would be to grow that brand and give that experience and offer that experience to other cities and locations in the Maritimes.
Welcome back to Business Insight Fredericton. I'm Krista Ross, CEO of the Fredericton Chamber of Commerce. Today, we're talking about fun things to do in Fredericton. And next up, we're speaking to Jordan Cheney, GM of Crabbe Mountain. Tell me a little bit about the history of Crabbe Mountain.
2021 marks 60 years of Crabbe Mountain. Yeah, so 4 or 5 generations of families represented, a deep culture of winter outdoor recreation and family recreation. You know, we're the largest ski area in the Maritimes, and we're embarking on some lofty goals with a resort development plan and first phase with our Crabbe Mountain 2025.
Ski season is only so long. What do you do in the off season to prepare for the next season?
Once we close for the season, we wind down, we evaluate the season, we look to next year, we start planning. There's an immense amount of maintenance that goes into running a ski area.
So what is the structure of Crabbe Mountain? I understand in the year 2015, a group of local business people bought the hill. Tell me about that.
For 25 years, the Wilson family out of Nova Scotia owned Crabbe Mountain. They also owned Ski Wentworth. And in 2015, they decided to sell, and there was a group of local skiers who partnered up and purchased the ski hill. The mountain is run by a board of directors. Some are shareholders, but not all, and management.
So how many people actually work for Crabbe Mountain? How many full-time employees year-round? How many full-time during the ski season? And how many part-timers do you have?
Full-time year-round in the past 5 years has gone from me to 4 or 5 of us. And then, as we ramp up for the ski season, we have about 65 full-time plus another 65 part-time. That includes your weekend ski instructors, your ski patrollers, all of those.
So you mentioned something about a new lodge. Tell me about that.
So over the past 60 years, the current lodge has seen lots of additions or different outbuildings brought together to solve a short-term issue that had not much long-term longevity, but here we are 60 years later, we're still using them. So by expanding our main lodge and incorporating all of those functions under one roof, we're drastically reducing all those friction points, which in turn increases the likelihood of return visits and growth.
Tell me, what is your time frame on the new lodge facility?
Yeah, we're going to be in it for this coming season. So for December 2022 is our hope.
So if we think about skiing in Atlantic Canada, where will this place you in terms of, level of type of business that is offering skiing?
We will be Atlantic Canada's premier destination for skiing and riding.
Recently, Crabbe Mountain was called one of the top 8 under the radar ski destinations in Canada. Tell me about that and why.
What we have is pretty special, right? If you stack Crabbe Mountain up against most Ontario ski areas, we're larger in size, more variety of terrain, and our snowpack is quite reliable.
I know there's a term that's used called vertical drop. What's that all about and how's yours?
The vertical drop is the overall height from top of mountain to bottom of mountain.
And Crabbe's is?
853 feet approximately.
As a ski destination, how do you measure success?
Skier visits, primarily. That would be the common denominator across all ski areas, which would be number of day tickets, night tickets.
And would that number be growing year over year for Crabbe?
Yeah, so from 2015, we had 35,000 annual skier visits. And in 2021, we had just over 50,000.
So what is your growth trajectory going forward, and will you max out at some point?
We've worked with a ski resort master planning consulting company out of Whistler, British Columbia, who specializes in these types of projects. What our resort balance is right now, it's more of a sequencing question. You know, how do you make sure that you preserve a positive experience for your guest?
I know that there is going to be Canada Winter Games 2023. Tell me about that.
PEI is the official host of the 2023 Canada Winter Games. So we are the proud hosts of moguls, freestyle moguls, as well as all alpine and para-alpine events.
That's going to be very exciting for our community. Tell me about the economic impact that the Hill has just in general terms, but also with events of that nature.
With 125 full and part-time staff, we are the second largest employer in our area, next to AV Nakawik. You know, in 2015, we had about 95 privately owned second homes. Now we're just under 150 privately owned second homes with a assessed value of just, you know, up around 21 million bucks, and that tax base as well. As we roll into more development beyond 2025, four-season recreation is on our radar as part of that growth plan, which will create more full-time year-round positions as well.
How do you make a ski hill into a year-round destination?
So step one is that we're building this beautiful new lodge, which will be a focal point for launching into four-season operations, right? So whether it's mountain bike or it's disc golf or it's lift service sightseeing or off the ATV trails, it's a stopping point for people to come grab a bite to eat, perhaps go for a mountain bike ride, etc.
So tell me about the Crabbe 2025 campaign. What is that all about?
So Crabbe Mountain 2025 is the first phase towards a multi-phased hill growth plan, which targets lodge improvements, which we're already working on, snowmaking upgrades for season extension and reliability. We've got lift upgrades for uphill capacity. We're looking at accommodations and future land development.
Tell me what you are most proud of in the time that you've been at Crabbe Mountain.
Actually being able to be a part in the development and the steering and the growth and realizing these things is it's an exciting time to be involved with Crabbe Mountain.
We're always looking for great companies with a unique story to feature on the show. If you have suggestions, please get in touch with us.